review video for learning targets 8A through 8E. My name is Mr. Powell. You may remember me from such videos as Unit 7 review or Unit 6 review. I am hoping that this helps you. All of the solutions are online. I'm going to go through the evens on this worksheet to give you a little bit more guidance. So I hope you can try those, and I would really suggest trying these problems first and then listening to these solutions. Okay, so I am going to go a little bit quick on certain problems, but make sure you rewind and rewatch until you understand that concept. Okay, starting off on number 2A. This is what we would consider top heavy or bottom heavy. There's way more x's on the bottom. So actually one of the x's is going to cancel off, and that's going to leave 7 x's on the bottom. So that would be just 1 over x to the 7th power. Top heavy, bottom heavy on B. We are clearly crossing off 10 of those x's, leaving 1 on top and actually x squared on the bottom. So 1 over x squared. Be very careful. That is not the same thing as just x squared, okay? Anytime we have a negative exponent, we go up or we go down depending on where we started, but that's going to go to the top, and that's going to be 3 to the positive 3 over 1. Well, 3 to the positive third is 3 times 3 times 3, which leads us to just the number 27. And then likewise here, a little bit different scenario. It is on top. It needs to go to the bottom. Be very careful. If nothing's left on top, we must leave a 1 in the place. So that's 1 over 3 to the positive third, which is equivalent to 1 over 27. Okay, so I hope those basic skills will help you out for the rest of this. Looking at number 4, you are supposed to be seeing 3 separate problems here. One with the coefficients, one with the x's, and then one with the y's. So I'm going to use the coefficients just to simplify. So my new fraction here, whoops, sorry, got the wrong one there. My new fraction here is going to have a 4 over 6 reduced. So I'm going to take a 2 out of each of those numbers. Just simplify by crossing those off, taking a 2 out. I have x to the first on top. I have x to the 5th on the bottom. That is bottom heavy by 4. So I have x to the 4th on the bottom. I have 6 y's on top, 3 y's on the bottom. That is top heavy by 3y cubed. So here we go. We have our final answer. Coefficients are simplified. I don't see a variable more than once. I have no powers of powers. I have no negative exponents. I'm ready to move on. Okay, 6 is definitely more complicated, but what I would suggest you do on number 6 is to take care of the powers of powers. So this is going to be a new fraction, and we're going to bring the 3 through to everything on top. Remember, that's not 12, that's 4 to the 3rd power. The rule for when we bring through powers of powers is to multiply the exponents. 2 times 3 gives me x to the 6th. 5 times 3 gives me y to the 15th power. On the bottom, a little tricky, but bring the negative 2 through to all of those exponents there. So what we're going to have is 3 to the negative 2nd power. We're going to have x to the positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And we're going to have y to the negative 4th. All right? There are many different ways to do these problems. Remember, I'm teaching you kind of one way so you have a routine each time. So I'm suggesting powers of powers first, and then now I'm suggesting for you to look at the variables, the bases that have negative exponents. So you can see here that I actually have that going on. Whoa, sorry about that. Apparently I don't know what I'm doing. Let me do this, this, and try this again. We have that here, and we have that there. So what they have to do is they have to move. They gotta move up, both of them. So actually, and I don't want to get too confusing here, this is going to come up. Sorry again, I need to switch over. Maybe I just need to slow down. But this right here is going to come up top. So what we're going to have there is we're going to have 3 to the positive 2 on top. So now I have 3 squared on top. I still have 4 to the 3rd. I still have x to the 6th. I still have y to the 15th. And now I'm going to bring these up. So now I have another y to the 4th. On the bottom, the only thing I have there is x to the 4th power. So I'm taking this kind of slow. If you can go faster, that's great. Just check to see that your answer is correct. So what we're going to have here is, well, 3 squared is really 9. And then 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 then is 64. So we have 9 times 64. I'm going to take care of these x's right here. Based on the other problems, I hope you notice that that's really top heavy by 2. So that's x squared. And then I can put those y's together. I have 15 and I have 4. The rule there is to add those exponents, so that's y to the 19th. So the only thing I have left to do is take 9 times 64. Okay, so I can even show you something that's cool here. If I pull up a calculator on this page, if we did 9 times 64, you can see that the answer there is 576. So that's coming out to 576 x squared y to the 19th power. That's the answer to that problem. Okay, also intense is number 8 and number 10. I'm trying to give you a bunch of practice here on this review worksheet because I think the more you do, the better off you'll be. Be careful. Sometimes we get something to the 0 power. Guess what? Anything to the 0 power is really 1. So this problem on number 8 just became a lot simpler here. So now when I bring through this 2, it's going to be 2 squared, x to the 6th, y to the 4th, and we all know that 2 squared is 4. So 4x to the 6th, y to the 4th. And that would be our final answer to that problem. Okay, a little intense here at the bottom though. When this 3 comes through, most common mistake is probably putting a -9. But again, that's a -3. I want to keep that in parentheses because it's negative to the 3rd power. We're going to have x to the 12th power, 3 times 4. That was that one. And then 3 times 2 is going to be y to the 6th power. And then we're going to multiply by 5x cubed y cubed. I had no power of power out here, so I just dropped the parentheses. It's all multiplication. Well, -3 cubed is actually -27. I'm going to write times 5 here next to it to get those by each other. So I've taken, care of that. I have 12 x's times the 3 x's there, so really x to the 12th, and then x cubed becomes x to the 15th power. And then I have y to the 6th times y cubed, which becomes y to the 9th power. So again, I'm stuck with just the coefficients that I need to multiply. So thinking about this, -20 times 5 would actually be -100, and then 7 times 5 is 35. So -135 x to the 15th power y to the 9th would be the answer to number 10. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video here and load 3 different videos.